Hello, my name is Katie Limbach. I am an education specialist with the NDE Office of Early Childhood. This is part 2 of a 3-part presentation focusing on the importance of play in a quality early childhood program. The first section defined play and presented some research that supports play. This second section focuses on types of play, the role of adults during play, and the play environment. The third and final section will focus on observation and assessment of play, as well as what you can do to support play. While children are playing, they are engaging in different types of play. These types of play often merge with each other as children move in and out of activities. Object play is one type of play that can be seen in an early childhood setting. During object play, children explore objects, learn about their properties, and discover how they work. Object play takes place while children build with blocks, play with sand, and paint. A child putting together a puzzle or rolling a truck back and forth are examples of object play. Pretend play can be called a variety of terms, including make-believe or dramatic play. During pretend play, children experiment with different social roles. We see children engaging in pretend play when they play beauty shop, pretend to be a firefighter with small fire trucks, or pretend to be a cowboy at a rodeo. Children engage in physical play whenever they use their bodies. A 6-month-old playing peekaboo or a 5-year-old running around the playground are both engaged in physical play. Objects can be added to physical play, such as when a child bounces a ball or moves a scarf while dancing. Throughout a typical day, all 3 types of play, object, pretend, and physical, will be seen. The first role of the adult in play is to ensure the environment is set up to support play. Setting up the play environment requires time, space, and materials. Scheduling at least a 60-minute block of time allows for children to choose where they want to play, what they want to play, and then engage in meaningful, complex play for an extended period of time. While time is vital for play, it is also important that adults create an environment that has interesting, hands-on materials to support play. Setting up a play environment requires some thoughtful planning and purposeful placement of materials and furniture. Early childhood educators generally set up areas for different types of play, such as the dramatic or house area, block or building area, book or library area, or art area. The state of Nebraska uses the Early Childhood Environmental Rating Scale, 3rd edition, commonly referred to as ECHRS 3, to evaluate early childhood programs. The ECHRS 3 guidelines distinguish between a play area and an interest center in this way. A play area is a space where play materials are provided for children to use, while an interest center is a clearly defined play area for a particular kind of play. So a teacher might arrange cars, blocks, Legos, a small barn and farm animals in shelves around a large rug. This would be considered a play area, as several different kinds of play can take place here and may impede on one another. Building with the blocks, fine motor with the Legos, dramatic play with the barn and farm animals, and object play with the cars. The teacher might also set up an area with writing materials, including pencils, crayons, paper, and word cards at a table with 2 chairs. This would be considered an interest center, as the specific purpose is for writing and it is in a clearly defined area. More information on ECHRS 3 training can be found on the Early Childhood Training Center website, which is provided in the resource section. Whether you are setting up a play area or an interest center, the amount of space available is important. Some play requires more space than others. Block play requires ample space for the building of large structures. Dramatic play requires enough space for children to move as they act out roles, and enough space that all the dramatic play materials such as pretend kitchens, Doll beds and dress-up clothes are able to be used without overcrowding. A writing area, on the other hand, might require less space. Where you place areas should also be considered. Placing the art area near a sink allows for easier cleanup. Putting the water table on a tile floor rather than the carpet also makes sense. Quiet activities should be separate as much as possible from louder activities. Examples of quiet activities are book reading, writing area, or a listening center. Noisier areas might be dramatic, blocks, music, and cars. Some play can be considered as buffers between quiet and noisy, including science, fine motor, math, and art. Consider how play generally looks to determine whether it is a quiet, noisy, or buffer area. Each area should have a variety of materials to support the specific kind of play that will happen in that area. Think about young children and their characteristics. We know that 3- and 4-year-olds are still very egocentric and focused on themselves. If only one truck or one baby doll is available for play, you can be sure that there will be conflicts. Provide enough materials for the number of children who will be using the area. However, this should be applied with some common sense. If you have 20 children in your classroom, you probably don't need 20 baby dolls, but 5 to 8 might be a reasonable number. Along the same lines, if you have 20 children, you need more than a starter kit of blocks. It sometimes makes more sense to get multiple sets of the same materials rather than having many smaller sets of different materials. This is especially true for building materials. If the classroom has lots of different building materials, but not enough of any one kind of material to build a substantial structure, children are less likely to engage in deep, meaningful play with those materials. Thinking outside the box can also help with materials. In the art area, expand your idea of art materials to include open-ended free materials such as cereal boxes, paper towel tubes, yarn, and extra fabric. Asking for donations of dress-up clothes, shoes, old phones, and hats will also build up the materials in the classroom. Generally, when families or community members know that you are looking for reusable materials, they are more than happy to provide you with materials they are getting rid of. Teachers should also make sure that any donated items are safe and in good condition before using in the classroom. Adult interaction is a key component for play. While children can learn through play without an adult present, a child's knowledge can be deepened and enhanced when an adult intentionally interacts during play. Teacher-guided or child-initiated play both provide opportunities for adult-child interaction during play. More information on teacher-guided and child-initiated play can be found in Part 1 of the Value of Play presentation. During play, adults will use a variety of strategies based on the needs and interests of each child. The first step of adult interaction during play should be to get on the child's level and then observe quietly to understand what the child is doing or saying. Once the adult has determined what the child is doing, specific interaction strategies can be used. Let's look at a couple of different adult interaction strategies that can be used during play. The first one is telling, explaining, and informing. Adults support as they tell, explain, or inform about a new material or experience that children can use. An adult might explain how the balance scale can be used in the math area, or provide information about the caterpillars in the science area. This teacher is discussing with children what a bridge looks like and how it could be built. Adults can model or demonstrate a variety of skills, including how to use a paintbrush, how linking cubes fit together, how to put a diaper on a baby doll, or how to write M-O-M for mom. All of these depend on what the child is doing and what is needed to support their knowledge. While these children are playing in the sand table, the teacher is demonstrating how the sand wheel works. Teachers must provide children with multiple opportunities to practice what they are learning. Oftentimes, children need guidance as they learn and practice a new skill. When an adult sets up a grocery store in the house area, she can support that play by allowing children to experience multiple times how to put items in the grocery cart and go to the checkout counter. The adult might suggest that children make signs for sale items that will provide extended opportunities for the children to write both letters and numbers in a meaningful context. In this photo, a teacher provides guidance to a child as he learns to use the pedals on a tricycle, while several other children practice their pedaling skills. Asking questions is a basic way to engage children in what they are doing. Questions should be purposeful and open-ended. Open-ended questions require deeper thinking than a closed-ended or single-answer question. Adults should always provide wait time after asking a question. Examples of open-ended questions include, how are these the same or different? What happens when you? Which is your favorite and why? How could you make the car go faster? Tell me about a time you have seen a butterfly. As with any strategy, questions should not be overused. Adult silence is an effective strategy to use while interacting with young children. Silence allows time for the adult to observe, understand, and document what the child is doing. When children are actively engaged through interactions with other children or in a project, adults should first watch silently and should refrain from interrupting. Thoughtful observing before entering a child's play will guide the adult's interactions, while thoughtful observing during the play will help the adult determine when it is time to go. It is important for adults to engage with children, but not overstay. Adults should support independent playing that allows children to work on their own without being overly dependent on an adult's interaction. This concludes part 2 of the value of play. Take some time to reflect on what you've heard about play. What ways do you interact with children during play? How have you set up your classroom to promote play? What might you change in your classroom to support the different kinds of play? Consider environmental changes as well as adult changes. Please join me for the third section, which will focus on observation and assessment during play, as well as ways you can support play-based learning. Here are just a few resources that can help you build your knowledge and understanding of the importance of play. Thank you for your time and attention, and thank you for the work you do to provide a quality early childhood experience for the children in your program.